Hey, what's up everyone? Tedrick85 here, and today I'm going to be talking about Skate or Die for the NES. Back when I first started publishing videos on my channel, one of the first games I reviewed was Skate or Die. This was around the time the Winter Olympics were on, and I had said that I was going to review this game in the future. I did want to review this game during the summer, but things kinda happened with me and I just didn't get around to it. However, the wait is finally over, and now I have a chance to talk about it. Much like Skate or Die, this game was published by Ultra, and it features a set of mini-games in which you play and compete against a friend or a CPU opponent. Also like Skate or Die, the game was very well received by gamers, myself included. To start with, the title screen looks pretty good, and you can see the graphics here look pretty cool too. You see the title and push start key flashing, which I think is pretty cool touch, and the music's pretty good here too. And that goes for the rest of the game too, you know, I don't think there's any complaints as far as music or graphics. And like in Skate or Die, you get to meet Lester, and you also get a chance to sign in and that and record all your high scores. Which, I don't know what I was doing here, but... but yeah, also like Skate or Die, you can also put your cursor over Lester and he gets to say all these quirky things and that, so... That's a nice thing that Skate or Die carried over from here, But also like my Skate or Die, I'm just gonna play practice and that, and this review is gonna be in the same style as that, what I did on Skate or Die, and, first event I want to talk about is this freestyle, which can be kind of rough to get used to after a while, and I do have to say there is a bit of a learning curve in this game in terms of controls. But once you learn the controls, they're about as solid as you can get in any kind of sports game. So, and the key to this freestyle is make sure you keep on pressing the A button while at the same time not wiping out like you see right here, which I think is pretty cool seeing him on the ground like that. But yeah, this is pretty much like the half pipe on Skate or Die, and it's all about making sure that you land on that and make sure you get a high score too. But all in all, this event isn't too bad. It's among my favorites in the game. And of course, the more tricks you do and the higher you go on it, the more points you're gonna get. So, but yeah, and that's pretty much it for freestyle. A fun little game to start off with. And after each practice, it'll ask you if you want to do it again, which I'm only going to do each one once just for the sake of doing this review, but, and the next event I'm going to do is the high jump, which is pretty much, it's very similar to the ski jump, except of course you don't have judges here, but, the controls work pretty much the same, but, if you don't get used to them right away, you get a situation like this where you kind of sway back and forth on the bottom here until you keep on pressing the A button and then get your way back to where you need to be, but it should go without saying that the higher you go here, the more points in that you get, and it's also important to get your landing here, which I just made a hole in that. I thought that was pretty cool at the time, and this is a fun game, you know. It's definitely not a game you want to take seriously, and just have fun with it, which. That's another thing too, you gotta watch out. Sometimes you press a button and waiting to go back to the ski shop, and here it'll take you back to practice over again, so make sure you keep your eye out on that, which I'm not gonna practice again. Now, the next event I'm gonna do is the Joust. This is probably my favorite event in the entire game. As you can see here, Poser Pete, Aggro-Eddie, and Lester. Don't even mess around with Lester, that's for pros. Aggro-Eddie's more of like a intermediate type difficulty, and Pete's a beginning difficulty. And this game is kind of like the Skate or Die equivalent of Snowball Blast, but as you can see here, it's very different. And like all the other mini-games, the graphics here are pretty good. Now, in this mini-game, each player takes a turn getting the Joust paddle, and if you have it, make sure you try to hit your opponent, which it's kind of hard to judge exactly where you are in relation to the guy that you're trying to hit. And then if your opponent ends up having the Joust paddle, you have to make sure that you don't get aligned with him or else you get whacked like that. So, But yeah, this is a best of 5 here, but first to get 3 hits on the opponent wins. And of course you can do points here, which really don't mean anything, but can be helpful in avoiding your opponent, which, as you can see here, I was already losing 2-0, but yeah, I used to be really good at this game, and like all the other mini games, the controls here are really good, and I haven't even mentioned the music. The music's pretty good in here, not only in this mini game, but in the entire game. You know, I think music's one of the strong points of this game. It really creates the mood of whatever game you're playing in that. And as you can see here, Pete pretty much kicked my butt. So, but yeah, that's pretty much Joust in that. And there's 3 mini games down already, and there's 2 more to go. Practice again. Nope. So now these next 2, I think, in comparison to Ski or Die, is kind of disappointing, and I'll tell you why in just a second. Here's the downhill, which of course there is a downhill in Ski or Die, but the reason why I say it's kind of disappointing compared to Ski or Die, because whereas in Ski or Die it seemed like you have a decent amount of time to ski, and this one it really doesn't seem to last all that long, and this is another one of these mini games where you kind of have to get used to the controls, but once you do, they're solid in that. And I know a bunch of people may complain about the graphics and that, but if you compare the graphics in this game to, I mean, the controls of this game to the graphics, the controls. Why do I keep saying graphics, but controls to California games? There's no comparison. The controls here are much smoother. So. But yeah, as you can see here, you know, I haven't played this in a while, but if you practice long enough, you should be pretty good at all of these and that. I just wanted to show these off for the sake of the review, so and the last one I want to show you is Jam, which is pretty much gonna be the same as the inner tube race, as you'll see here. And the object is try to get to the finish line before your opponent, which is Lester, and you can try to impede his progress by punching him and kicking him and that, and you can also get points by collecting, I guess those are soda cans, but and you can also try to get your opponent to go into those manholes, which I didn't get to do here, but it's actually pretty funny. Or you can get him to run into the fencer, which kind of, based on the graphics, it almost looks like he's disintegrating, but he's actually going into the fence, so. But yeah, I think the graphics here could be a little bit better, but at least you know what you're doing in there, and at least you can see what's going on. But like all the mini games, the controls here are pretty decent in that, and there's really no complaints. But as you can see here, I actually won that mini game, so but yeah, oh no, there's not any reason why anyone shouldn't have fun playing this, and it's definitely a game worth picking up if you get a chance. Because you'll be spending hours on this and enjoying this with either by yourself or with friends. Like I said in my Ski or Die review, I don't think this game is quite as good as the aforementioned one, but that certainly doesn't mean that I don't like to play it for a good couple hours every now and then, because the game is really fun overall. If you get a chance to play it, please do so. Good controls, decent graphics, and variety in gameplay make this an enjoyable NES game to play, at least more enjoyable than California games, a game I might review in the future, but who knows. This is Tedrick85 speaking. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.